When's that damn third trailer coming out? It's the year of Shadow, the third movie is coming out, Sonic X Shadow is coming out, has been for a while. And despite all this and more coming out, I'm just left thinking, when was I last hyped about Sonic? Sonic Generations? In 2011? 13 years ago? What have I been doing with my life since then? Oh yeah, Overwatch and League of Legends. That warm embrace came close, I assure you. But seriously, when have we all last been hyped about Sonic? And I don't mean looking forward to the next game, I actually mean genuinely invested in the brand and looking forward to all possible content that's coming out, because right now, I'm starting to have faith again. In this video, I really wanted to discuss the current resurgence of Sonic hype and where I think the Sonic brand thrived, where it threw itself off a cliff, and how I think the brand is making its comeback in the biggest way possible. So if you like the video, consider subscribing, it helps me know what kind of videos you want more of. I always see a funny little question asked around a lot in the Sonic fandom and discourse. Was Sonic ever good? And I think, it depends on your tolerance of multimedia as a whole. As artistic as that answer sounds, bear with me please. When I consume media, I have a very odd habit of breaking it into its core parts and enjoying each separately, like parts of a hamburger, let's say. So let's stick with this analogy for just the games for now. Imagine you have a lovely, juicy, succulent burger, but it comes with everything on it. Let's say you don't like lettuce, just remove it. Just because it was there doesn't mean you can't enjoy the rest. Although in some cases I can definitely say I'd rather unload a case of shells into my noggin than eat certain burgers. And yes, I actually think Secret Rings is the worst video game ever made, period. But you get my point. Sonic games and its various media have been a very mixed barrel. One minute you can go from Sonic arguing with a little god about the duality of life itself, and then look at the other end of the spectrum and get flashbanged by pure corporatism.
If you don't know how to floss, you'll be lost without me.
I understand nothing of what you just said.
All Sonic media have their pros and cons to them, and if you want a better opinion than you can enjoy something even if there's bad mixed in, then you would have stopped watching already. So let's see where Sonic peaked, in my shitty opinion. Alright, let's get this over with. Sorry, but I really don't like classic Sonic. I don't like the sluggish platforming at all. If I wanted that, I'd play Crash. At least that way my skill doesn't require me to halt all my fun momentum for shitty one-note platforming, or having to remember an entire branching level for a replay in case I run right into a pit or spike. Sorry, I just think it's artificial difficulty. Music was good though. But let's cut to the chase. I grew up in Sonic's modern shonen era. Crazy hype cinematics, blaring butt rock, and over-the-top stories. Like remember when Knuckles tried to kill himself? And yes, this is a biased opinion, but in fairness, I was the exact target demographic for these games like Unleashed, Black Knight, 06, Heroes, and Shadow the Hedgehog, and more. I was too young to understand that a character saying damn in a kid's game was not the most epic things ever, and I was too old to want to revert back to playing kiddie games like Mario. These games captivated me, and I ate them all up in this era. Thank you, CEX! I also remember finding out Sonic X existed the night before school started again after holidays, and I actually cried. I was that upset I couldn't binge watch it. Let's not forget the absolute peak of fan animation like Sonic Shorts and Mario Bros. Z. My god, even if you didn't like Sonic, the brand's appeal was everywhere. On your TV, in your eardrums, in your pants. It was amazing, but not for long. Like I said, the last thing I was hyped for was Sonic Generations in 2011, which I was not wrong to be hyped for, but never did I expect to be the last dopamine rush I'd ever experienced as a Sonic fan. Until now! But more on that later. I must admit, my tolerance for Sonic content has grown thinner over the years. I used to defend the hell out of Shadow the Hedgehog, but now I can admit that the branching story and awkward mission structure to get the true ending make it so unfun by today's standards. I was in denial for a while about Sonic. Colours is lackluster animation and kiddie dialogue. I just chucked up to it being on the way and likely for a younger demographic. Same with Lost World to a higher degree, but I just ignored it again since it was just another younger Wii U title. Then along came Sonic Boom and Sonic Forces. My patience was f***ing done. I gave up on Sonic for a while. I didn't really care what games were coming out since I knew it was just a downward slope for a decade. I think the only good thing that came after Forces in that era was just the IDW comics, which are actually pretty good. The damage done by 06 and Boom's buggy flops made it seem like Sega put Sonic on the back burner for a while and just hired literal mobile game developers to direct their games. Shall we talk about the movies? Okay, I don't really have much to say, but the first movie made me want to kill myself, and the second one was better, I guess. It was just still held back by some of the same problems as the first movie, but perhaps they deserve their own video in the future when the third movie comes out. And don't talk to me about the Schmuckles show. So why now, after 13 years, am I finally happy to be a Sonic fan? Well, ignoring Sonic Prime's "he's right behind me, isn't he?" cringe fest.
Come at me, bro.
I actually started to regain some hype for Sonic recently. One massive thing I was hyped for was the announcement of the third movie. It got a lot of Sonic fans hyped because of its confirmed heavy ties to the shonen area of Sonic that I and a lot of fans hold in high regard. Sonic Frontiers was a much better game in terms of grandeur, polish, and quality control, giving me hope for future titles too. But man, the Year of Shadow got me so hyped. If you haven't already checked out my Shadow analysis I did, it actually turned out to be my most viewed on the channel, so thank you. We also have the new Sonic X Shadow Generations game coming out with the new polished content, and it has me extremely excited. And my god, that animation teaser for the next Shadow anime was so good. Sega seems to know exactly what their fans want, and it's all about this era I grew up with. We want flashy, grandeur games and stories, we want over-the-top cheese and excitement, and most importantly, we want the characters to feel like characters again, not some flanderized bland plot mules animated like SFM machinima. Sonic has had a rough decade, but we do now have to commend Sega in some regard because of their willingness to listen to fans and bringing talent who are passionate about the franchise. They are making great strides in great directions, and I think it's thanks to us as fans of the franchise that they still get that chance to return to greatness. But seriously, where is that damn third movie trailer?